Hello folks, and welcome back to my channel. It's another try to get ready with me, and this one is really exciting, and also a little nerve-wracking, but mostly really exciting. Yeah. So, as some of you may recall, I made a couple videos on here over a year ago now about the debate I was in about top surgery and talking about the fact that I had decided that top surgery was right for me and I was going to pursue getting it. But also, as anyone who's watched any of my videos knows, I have been taking a pretty slow, intentional process through transitioning, especially when it's come to taking hormones, and surgery has been no exception. So now, over a year since I decided that top surgery was right for me, I can say that I've found my surgeon, I'm pretty sure, and I am planning to move forward with getting top surgery in 2024. So I wanted to sit down with you and obviously share this life update because that is pretty big and I'm having a lot of feelings about it. Because I also wanted to talk a little bit about what is going into getting top surgery for me. Because I know I've seen a lot of folks posting about their top surgery journeys and experiences online over the last many years that I've been thinking about it, and I haven't really seen many people talking about a top surgery journey that looks like mine is looking and will look. So like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure I found my surgeon. That is so exciting for me because I have gone on 5 different consultations with different surgeons who offer top surgery, including some of the best and most well-regarded and most prolific top surgeons in the country. And it took me until my 5th surgeon before I found someone that I really truly connected with and liked and felt like was listening to me and hearing me, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt like a certain level of pressure to go with some of the more popular or more widely used surgeons that I see people going with, and I did some consultations with some very popular surgeons, and not in any way to say that they are bad surgeons or they're doing bad work, but I didn't enjoy my connection with them. I didn't feel like it was the right fit. Some of them I didn't like the way they spoke to me about my goals. I didn't like some of their considerations for my body modifications, and others I just didn't really connect well with the surgeon. I understand that for some people, the dysphoria is bad, it is pressing, it is an ASAP thing, you gotta get these things off of your chest. Believe me, I get it. But for me, my dysphoria around my chest is there, but it's not super severe, and I am fortunate enough to be in a place where I feel like I can take my time and really make sure I find the surgeon that's right for me and that I connect with and that's going to make the chest that I really want after this. So I've spent a year researching surgeons, going on consultations, seeing what I liked, what I didn't like, talking about what I liked and didn't like in therapy with my therapist, figuring out what exactly my goals are, not just for my surgical results, but for the surgical experience I want to have, and making sure that I'm going with a team that's really going to make this experience good for me. And I think I finally found that. Now there's a couple things that I have to do with insurance and the state and work and just some other stuff before I can completely lock myself in with this surgeon. So I'm very superstitious. At this time, I'm not going to name my surgeon because I feel like I can completely lock myself in with this surgeon. So I'm very superstitious. At this time, I'm very superstitious, so this time I'm not going to name my surgeon because I feel like that's going to jinx it, and then the stuff that I need to do with insurance and stuff isn't going to work out. But once I have everything confirmed, then I'll be sharing more information. But I do have enough confirmed now to know kind of what direction I'm heading in for surgery and what my planning for surgery is, and that's really, and kind of what my planning for surgery is, and that's really what I wanted to sit down and share with y'all today. So I'm doing some pretty big pre-filming right now because I'm trying to have the month of December off of having to make content so I can just spend it with friends and family who will be in town for the holidays. So I'm filming this right now in October. I just finished my consultation with my surgeon and my planning and stuff, and I'm currently looking for a surgical date of November 2024. Now you might hear that and go, Lynn, that is over a year away. Is this surgeon just like super booked out? Like, what is going on? And no, I am very intentionally right now choosing November of 2024 as my surgical date. And let me talk a little bit about why. To start, I want to acknowledge it's a far surgical date, and there is a lot of me that is stressed about having to wait so long to finally get this surgery, because as I anticipated, the more work I put into getting this surgery done, the more dysphoric I'm getting, and like the closer and realer it gets, the more uncomfortable I get with my chest. So there is a part of me that's like, ugh, I'm gonna have to wait like an entire year longer, technically, before I can finally get this done. Like, that sucks, but that part of me is very small in comparison to the part of me that knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is the right time frame for me to get everything I need to get done for surgery. So my first consideration behind that date, I've worn garments like what I'll have to wear after surgery, and it sucks in the heat, and I am very prone to getting heat rash. My skin just loves to get heat rash. It happens very, very easily on me. And I'm very, very concerned that if I get this surgery done during warmer months, first of all, that I'm just gonna be miserably uncomfortable during my recovery and in this garment. My apartment building does not have central air. I'm gonna be getting a little window unit for next summer, and I just don't think that's gonna cut it on keeping me cool. But secondly, I am so prone to getting heat rash. I have gotten heat rash under compression garments after surgery in the past. I've even just gotten heat rash under like compression socks from surgery. Like, it is just my skin is just very prone to getting heat rash. So I'm very concerned about that. So I know that I want to do this surgery during colder months, because that is just going to be the easier time for me to recover and be in that type of compression. I'm gonna be less sweaty. I'm just gonna be more comfortable. I just think I'm gonna have a better time of it. So that would leave me this winter and kind of spring, since I live in the Pacific Northwest now, and then next, like, late fall, early winter. Now, I would also really like to not have to, like, crowd fund for my top surgery. I would really like to be able to afford it by myself. And I would really like for insurance to be able to cover it. And the process of getting insurance to cover top surgery is quite an involved one. I need 2 separate letters from 2 separate mental health professionals. I currently see and work with a therapist, but that's just one therapist. So I'm gonna have to see another therapist for at least a couple of sessions. I have to get a letter from the provider for my HRT talking about how long I've been on HRT and things like that. Fortunately, I already did my name and gender marker change, so that's done. But I'll also need like a letter from a primary care physician. So I have to get together all of this stuff. We have to submit it for approval to insurance. There's gonna be some back and forth between insurance and me, insurance and my job, insurance and my doctor's office. There's a lot that goes into getting insurance's approval to have this done. And in an ideal world, insurance will cover everything, and I'll just have to pay my deductible out of pocket, and I'm gonna have to be off of work for a month. So I will have a month of downtime where I'm not working, so I'll need enough money saved up to cover a month of expenses, and then I'll need a little bit of extra money for recovery supplies. I'll need like pillows and bolsters so that I can sleep upright, and clothing that I can take on and off easily for recovery, and scar creams and medications. So this will give me time to try and get everything covered by insurance, time to look into some programs in my state that will help me out with that, and then time to save up money so that hopefully I don't have to crowdfund any of this and I can just cover it all on my own. There's a slight chance insurance is not going to cover everything I want for this surgery, because in order to do the incisions the way that I want them and to create the androgynous chest that I'm looking for. My doctor also needs to do a bunch of additional liposuction, and also to try and help prevent like dog ears, and just like extra loose skin around my sides. And he's not super hopeful that insurance is going to cover that. He thinks they're just going to cover top surgery and the additional lipo, even though it is essential to create the chest that I want and to prevent me from having dog ears. He doesn't think they're going to cover. So on the off chance that they don't cover it, this gives me extra time to try and figure out a way to make some extra money to cover that myself. And if I can't afford it on my own, he'll probably turn to crowdfunding. I really want to avoid that. So I'm hoping that this like longer time frame gives me the ability to avoid having to do that, and hopefully I can just cover this surgery on my own and it'll be great. Now, another big benefit for me of waiting such a long time before actually getting my top surgery is that this gives me time to do some prep work for top surgery. And first and foremost among that is working out in the gym to get ready for top surgery. And this is so overlooked. This is so overlooked. And it's overlooked for two reasons. First of all, when they're doing top surgery, they are cutting along typically the line of your pectoral muscle, and that is what they are following to create the shape of your new chest. And the more well-defined and built up your pectoral muscles are, the easier it is for your surgeon to find and follow, working out and building up your chest, but also building up the other muscles that support your chest, building up your lats, building up your sides. Like, this will all make your surgeon's job a lot easier, because when your surgeon goes in and starts operating, these muscles are going to be nice and built up, nice and defined, and it's going to be very easy for your surgeon to kind of follow that line and that curvature and get you really nice, natural looking results. And plenty of surgeons have talked about how like working out your chest and building up your chest before top surgery really helps and really makes their lives easier. So that is part of it. But the other part of it is that during the recovery, you don't want to like lift your arms up above your head, really above like chest height, because you stretch out your incisions when you do that. And you want to just kind of keep your arms down and relaxed and not rely on using them too much for things, not be like reaching up all the time. So that way your incisions have time to like heal and connect together, and your scarring is not so like stretched out. It just makes your scars look nicer. It allows the incisions to heal better. It gives your body the opportunity to heal. But we are so used to using our arms for so many things that a lot of folks struggle with that transition of not using their arms during recovery, because their core and their back isn't as strong to support their whole body, to like sit up or push yourself up without having to use your arms, or maneuver around without having to use your arms. And then just besides that, like, it's a major surgery that's going to take a huge toll on your body, and your body being in a more physically fit and healthy place is going to make it easier for your body to handle the procedure and the recovery that comes along with it. So another big portion of why, now that I've decided I want surgery, I want to take some time before I just jump into getting it, is that I want to do a lot of training. I knew I wanted to do at least 6 months of a dedicated routine with my personal trainer, who happens to be trans, and she is amazing and wonderful and incredible and just like gets it, and is designing a custom workout plan for me in preparation for top surgery. So we are going to spend the whole next year obviously working out other parts of my body as well, but really focusing on building up my chest, my shoulders, and my upper body so that it's really easy for my surgeon to get in there and just see really well-defined muscles, and work off of those muscles to sculpt my new chest, but also preparing for the reality that I'm going to have a month where I'm really not lifting my arms or using my arms much. So preparing my core and my sides and my back to be more supportive of my body, getting my hips and my legs ready to be doing more solo movement without the support and bracing of my arms, and just really getting my body in a place where I'm going to both get the most optimal surgery results and have the easiest and most comfortable recovery possible. This also includes things like changing my diet and eating high protein and high iron closer to surgery to prepare for surgery and make sure my body has the nutrients and the nourishment that it needs to rebuild and repair after a surgery like this. In the past, when I've gotten surgeries, and even when I've gotten scarification done, I've even done like low sodium or no sodium for a couple weeks leading up to surgery to make sure that I'm not like holding excess water in my skin, so that way my skin is really easy to work with. So there's just a lot of very intentional prep work for me that is going into getting this surgery. And also on top of all of that, I have a tattoo on my stomach that I got when I was like 19, I think. And I like most of it, but part of it is just not gonna work with my new chest. I just know that I'm not gonna like how it looks with the shape of my new chest. So in preparation, I am also planning to have that lasered and hopefully be fully gone or mostly gone before I get the surgery, because I know if I leave it and I get surgery and I look at my new chest afterwards and that tattoo is still there, I'm not going to be as happy as I could be. So that also gives me time to see about getting this lasered. I've actually already done a couple sessions on it a few years ago, so I'm really hoping I only have a couple sessions left, and then that can be gone, and then I will just feel 100% happy with my results when I see them after surgery. And then this also gives me time to like enjoy a final year with having my chest. Because for me, I mean, I've not been happy with my chest my whole life. Like when I just started growing boobs in school, very quickly I was like, oh, these are getting big. These are getting too big. I don't like how big these are. Guys, are these gonna stop? Even if I wasn't trans and I wasn't going for top surgery, I think I would end up getting a reduction. I have G cups and it's too much. It's too big for my frame. They cause me a lot of discomfort. They get in the way all the time. Like, I'm just over it. But despite knowing with confidence, like, I don't want them there, I don't like hate them. I think they look nice in certain outfits and I think that they can be fun. They're just inconvenient like 80% of the time and downright uncomfortable like 40% of the time. But a whole year gives me time to make peace with the way that I'm going to change my body and take some time to say goodbye to the body that I have now and prepare myself mentally and emotionally and physically, obviously, for the new body that I'm going to have after surgery. And I like that I will be taking time to honor the body that I've had so far and what it has done for me and celebrate it and enjoy it before I change it and allow it to do even more for me in the future. And I'm not going to sit here and try and say that I am like doing top surgery different or doing it special or anything like that, but in all of my research and reading, I've seen a few folks who are going a little bit more intentional and going a little bit more slow, but I also see a lot of folks who just go as quickly as the system will allow them and as they can, and I understand that that is the right pace for a lot of people. A lot of folks know for sure they want it done. It is causing them distress. The dysphoria is causing them distress. Like, they're already in a place physically where they're ready for surgery. They're not as concerned about some of these things as I am. That's completely fine. 100% fine. But for me, I wanted something a little bit slower, a little bit more intentional. That is how I go into all of my modifications. I have always done a lot of prep work before any mod work that I've gotten done. I've always done a lot of research. I've always been very picky about who works on my body for these things. I went on like 8 different consults before I found the surgeon who did my other work. I am super picky about who tattoos me, about who pierces me, and for me, all of this is an extension of body modification, which is a very intentional process in my life, and I didn't want top surgery to be any different than that. And so I'm very excited for this next year and for this prep work that I'm going to put in to physically get my body ready for top surgery, to really help make sure that I get the results that I want, and also to be mentally prepared for the results that I'm gonna get, because like human bodies are naturally asymmetrical. Like how my chest grows as I work it out, as I build up my pecs, is probably not going to be perfectly symmetrical. So this will also give me the opportunity to see how my chest muscles develop, and how my torso muscles develop, and how that looks, and help me have a really accurate idea of how they're going to look after surgery, and just be really prepared with reasonable expectations for my surgical result. But also just allow myself to have an easier recovery, which is huge because recovery from top surgery can be kind of brutal sometimes. So I really want to put in the work to try and make that as easy as possible. I would prefer like not to have a brutal recovery. I've already had some rough surgical recoveries, so I don't need any more of those. I like that it'll give me time to try and see how much of this I can get covered by insurance and how much of this I can afford myself. Again, I totally understand that for some folks it is a need that has to happen right away, and sometimes that means needing to crowdfund, especially in this country with how terrible our healthcare is. But if I am in a position where I can wait and I can try and cover it myself and not need to rely on my community and not need to take resources away from other people who need it more, I would like to try and do that. So since it's not as pressing a need for me, I can do this more slowly and try and do it on my own and not have to take those resources away. And I like that. And it's also just kind of gonna be the right time of year for me and my body, knowing how I handle the heat and handle different seasons, to heal and recover. And then I don't have to worry about wanting to go out in the sun with fresh scars that shouldn't be getting sun initially anyway. I'll be able to like recover throughout November, and then it'll be winter, so I'll be wearing lots of layers. My scars will be covered up. They'll have lots of time to mature before it's warm again, and I want to go out and possibly go out shirtless and possibly go out and let them get some sunshine. So I just think this whole timeline makes perfect sense in my life and for my body and for what I want to do to prepare for this surgery. And I'm excited. I'm really, 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 really excited. And I know a year feels so far right now, but next November will be here before I know it, and I'll finally be getting the surgery, and I'll finally be getting these off of my chest, and I will just feel so much better and happier. And yeah, so it's been a long journey already. It's gonna be a longer journey before it's over, but I'm really looking forward to it. So that's my latest big update. Have my surgeon, hopefully, fingers crossed. Everyone cross your fingers and toes for me. And now it's just time for a lot of prep work and a lot of really making sure that this surgery turns out as good as it possibly can for me. Thanks so much for sitting down and chatting. I'm actually about to go head out to a cat cafe here in Seattle with one of my friends, and I'm so excited to go pet all the kitties. You have no idea. It's gonna be wonderful. I'm gonna come home and girlfriend is gonna be so mad. It's gonna smell like so many strange cats, and yeah, it's gonna be a great day. I hope y'all have a great day too. Thanks for sitting down and hanging out and catching up on where I am with my top surgery stuff, and I can't wait to keep updating you on this process as I have more info. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.